Hello, and welcome to episode 104 of Daryl's Show Your Work. All right, so in this episode, I'm going to be discussing the vulnerability that's found in a specific version of the VSFTPD Linux FTP server. All right, so before I dive into that, I'm going to preface this video with my usual disclaimer here. Where anytime I'm doing these sort of offensive security actions or red teaming, that this is for educational research and ethical purposes only. Any sort of malicious action that's made directly or indirectly come from someone watching my video, I do not take responsibility for, nor do I condone. All right. So to give just a high level overview of what FTPD is, it that actually is short for the very secure um, um, very excuse me, very secure FTP daemon. All right, and it's a FTP server for Unix-like operating systems, such as Linux, that is known for its security, speed, and stability. However, even though it is known for its security and stability, there is a vulnerability to the 2.3 version of it. All right, and so what that vulnerability is, it's this variation of the VS FTPD is vulnerable to a command execution vulnerability that's facilitated by a malicious backdoor that was actually added to the very secure FTP daemon download archive in 2011, and that was through a supply chain attack. All right, so it's important to have this type of thing patched, even though that was approximately what, like 14 years ago. You'd be surprised what people just don't have patched. So I'm going to show why this version of the VSFTPD FTP server should not be used, and why this vulnerability should be patched if it is in use. All right. So to get started, I'm going to find what my IP address is. Right. Smooth this over here. All right. So it looks like my IP address is 192.221.226.2. All right. And let's do a ping sweep of my CIDR. So that way I can see who else is available here on my local network. And this is how we're going to choose a target host. All right. So I'm going to give everything, it should be the same as my IP address up to the last octet, and then that I'm going to specify as 0, but then I'm going to put /24, and that's going to look up everything within my local network here. All right, so as usual, 1, 2, and 3 are available, 1 being the gateway, 2 being myself, and 3 being our unlucky victim. All right, so um, next, I'm going to jump right into the Metasploit framework, and I'm going to begin looking for a tool that specifically targets this version of this VS FTPD FTP server, and I'm going to be running an nmap scan inside of the Metasploit framework. That way, that'll help to retain my findings within that database. And anytime that I may need to revisit it, I can always type in commands within the Metasploit framework to do so. All right, so I'm gonna say service, and we're gonna start up the PostgresQL database. Start, and I'm gonna combine that with the step to start up the MSF console. All right, get that couple seconds to boot up. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start off by making a workspace for myself. So say workspace dash A, and let's call this exactly what it is. This is a VSFTPD. All right, and then we're gonna say 2.3.4. All right, so that's going to be the name of the workspace. All right, and um, I'm going to set our target host as a global parameter here, so that way I don't have to keep re-entering it in to different modules that I may use within the Metasploit framework. All right, so let's see. I don't think, did I copy any of that? Let me see. Let me go back. I don't think I did copy anything. All right, I know it's .3, so I could just copy this and just change that to a 3. There we go. All right. So that's set globally. All right. And now I'm going to run my nmap scan against our target host. So while I'm in the Metasploit framework, I have to actually put db underscore before nmap. All right. So because again, that's like database underscore nmap. So it's again, when it's running, it's saving everything to the Metasploit database. So I can always query for a certain um, features that I've discovered, or certain things that I've discovered. I can always query that later. So we want to do a send scan and then a service scan and just do an operating system scan. All right. Change that to a 3. All right. All right. That actually went by pretty quick. All right, so we can see that port 21 is indeed open here, and it is running FTP on it as it should, since that is the default port, and that is indeed running this VSFTPD 2.3.4 version. All right, which I've discussed has its vulnerabilities, and I'm going to exploit that. So I am actually going to search a VSFTP PD, um, all related exploitation modules for this, all related modules in general. I didn't specify exploitation. All right, so we're looking at two different ones. Of course, we want this one. All right, so this is 2.3.2. That's out of the scope of what it is that I'm the type of attack that I'm looking to facilitate here. All right, then this actually looks for the presence of denial service vulnerability, but we actually want to exploit the backdoor vulnerability to this FTP server version. Okay, so I'm going to say use one. That's so one being the module ID. All right, so let's go to show options, and I shouldn't have to set up anything, but let's see. Okay, so as I suspected, everything looks good. Again, remember when I first got into Metasploit, after setting up my workspace, I set our remote host globally here. All right, so this should propagate any module that I use within the Metasploit framework, or at least during the session. And then, of course, port 21 is going to be already be set for us, since this is a module that specifically targets the FTP protocol. All right, so I'm going to just type exploit. All right, and this should get me a shell. Actually, it's going to throw me right into the shell. All right, so let's say I could do a list, see what's in here. All right, so those are the different files that are within the directory that I'm in. So let's say I wanted to start actually a bash session here. So I would say just type in the directory that launches bash sessions, which has been bash. All right, I would say dash I. All right, and this should open up a bash terminal for me as it does. So you can see that that's changed. All right, so if I say sysinfo, oh, well, let me see. Hold on. Try to control Z. All right, so that brings us out. Yeah, that's right, because I'm not, I don't have a interpreter session, um so yeah, those commands won't work. But I'm not going to throw us into an interpreter session like I did during the last video. But I just wanted to show how that specific VS FTP that specific version of this Unix specific FTP server, how it's vulnerable, how it can be exploited, and why it's important to make sure that number one, if you are going to use FTP for some strange reason, to make sure that you do have a version higher than 2.3.4, and that these type of vulnerabilities are patched. Why patch management is important, because these are sort of backdoors that can be exploited by malicious actors. But anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, show your work. And until next time, take care of yourself and God bless.